Hi there. Welcome back. Welcome in. I'm Jay, your host, and we will be talking about the Sebastian Rogers case today with a short audio of the wonderful statement analyst Peter Hyatt. He is going to talk about what he refers to should be the biggest red flag of them all in this case, the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. Hyatt analyzes one question that was said in an interview and leading to what he allegedly thinks caused the disappearance of Sebastian Rogers. The $1 million question is why. He finds that question alarming because for most, the $1 million question is where. This is Crime Time Buzz, and 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers is still missing after being reported missing on February 26, 2024. Location, Hendersonville, Tennessee. This video is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as fact, but theory, speculation, and opinion. No accusations towards any person and or people are being made. Where is Sebastian Rogers? Before I turn on the audio clip of statement analyst Peter Hyatt's analysis for us to listen to together, I want to go over a few things. Do you believe in coincidences in true crime? I do not. I always think they seem to usually have some meaning. Hyatt points out a couple of coincidences in this case. Many of us are so invested, we feel a certain way, we have an opinion. So does statement analyst Peter Hyatt, and if it differs from yours, ours, mine, it's still valuable as he analyzes one statement made by CP. The $1 million question is why. He says this should be the biggest red flag of them all. His insight to why this is so much more than a question is fascinating. To give you some context, prior to the start of the short audio we are listening to, he says that he does believe allegedly that what is behind the alleged deception is the cover up and fear of what happened before 6 a.m. Monday to be revealed. Remember the journalist, and I'll pin the video at the end of this video if you missed it. Remember the journalist that quoted CP of saying it was an emotional roller coaster that began Sunday night. Well, Hyatt believes this to be true and causing the disappearance of Sebastian. He does not believe CP or KP unalived him, and he does not believe they know where he is. But in his opinion, are responsible, allegedly, and the cause of his disappearance. So let's hear him out. What happened? Where is Sebastian? I do have 2 or 3 challenges to Hyatt's theory that we can dive into after the audio. So please stay to the end and join me.
In that interview that they conducted, they repeated that he walked out the door. So it was in the language of both, even though the stepfather is taking the lead. And here's a strange thing. It was, in my estimation, perfectly in sync one with another. They were united with that. And what they're telling us is they know. But if my understanding is correct, you weren't even there, stepfather. You weren't there. What I would expect is less synchronization and maybe some slight off details from one from another. And the other one could say, no, I went to this room first or that room first. And that's not what we saw. We saw very tightly controlled information. We saw the synchronization of their narrative. And at that time, no deviation from it. And then, of course, the more they spoke, the more we learned and the more we saw, and that wasn't true. We also learned that she went to his bedroom at 6 a.m. and she gives the reason why. The reason why. So I take that because I don't think any investigator would have said, well, why did you go to his room at 6 a.m.? Of course, they got to go to school. It's a norm. The investigator is more looking for what happened to cause him to walk out the door. And then they mentioned the locking. And what this suggests is there may have been an alternative there of going to his room and looking at the synchronization and then some other statements to me, to my ears, it sounds like a story. Now, going to the room and to wake him up for school, and then he's not there, what are we led to believe? We're led to believe that they don't know why he wouldn't be in his room. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. We are to believe there is no knowledge of his disappearance until 6 a.m. And those of you that have been following my work on the case, public work, I'm not involved with it at all, because I don't believe that. And I give some of my reasons. So then the stepfather said something that should look like this on an Analyst page. He said that regarding, staying to that, he walked out the door. Staying to that, while his stepson is missing, the man who was not on the location said the $1 million question is why. Now, this is an expression, probably inflation has eroded this question somewhat, expression somewhat, but $1 million question, that goes back to TV time, and it is to say this is the paramount, this is the top mystery, is why did he go out that door? Now, what would I wouldn't even say what would in terms of conditional. What was your first question when you heard about this case? What was your paramount question? What was mine? Where's Sebastian? Where's Sebastian? Now, we may want to look at later on as things begin to get hazy. It's like, hey, what happened there? But when someone offers an explanation of why something happened without being asked, and it's contextually not relevant, what the subject is doing is teaching the investigator where to aim the questions. And I've had this happen to me many times over the years. I wouldn't have even thought of such and such had the subject not raised it. As soon as he raised it, there you go. Unnecessary information, explanation why. I look for an alternative explanation, and more times than not, that's exactly what is found. Here we have someone raising a question as paramount as to why Sebastian walked out that door. Now, it's a rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions are very important in an interview or an interrogation. It is for the subject to attempt to take back control of it, or not allow the interviewer to have control of it, and to preempt questions. So if I say the $1 million question about my missing stepson is why he did this, what do you then presuppose as an audience or an investigator? They don't know why he did this. He is taking control and saying, don't ask me why, because I don't know. And by offering it in a rhetorical question, he is preempting that topic from being raised. That should have been one of the biggest red flags of this entire thing. So now, everyone wants to know where. And later on we can talk about the whys, but where is he? This was and is a deceptive statement to feign that stepfather and mother didn't know why Sebastian went out the door. They're not truthful. And this is something that with a skilled polygraph examiner can pick up on. The first two important questions: did you kill your child, and do you know where he is? Of course, those must be asked, but this is a signal for an investigation to go, oh, I need to look at what happened just before he went missing. Because these people are trying to convince me they don't know why, and I didn't even ask them. Well, why did he go missing? The case of a missing college-age girl this morning I posted on X, where the...
Sorry about that. That was my doggy. Let me turn it back on. I tried to go back a little bit.
He went missing. Because these people are trying to convince me they don't know why, and I didn't even ask them. Well, why did he go missing? The case of a missing college-age girl this morning I posted on X, where the father gives her behavioral or psychological state before she went missing. And he gave a description. He wants people to know that. And if there was any type of argument between them, these people are experienced in child protective services. So by saying we argued and he was upset and he must have run off and I'm so sorry, I so regret saying those things, I was trying to discipline him, we're trying to help him, that's normal. That happens with non-autistic children. That happens with teenagers. The need to conceal it, along with the history of child protective services, tells us it was serious enough, whatever took place, to need to lie about it, to need to conceal it, a need to preempt being asked about what happened just prior to that, going out the door. It shows concern over about being asked what happened to cause him to be missing. Something they do not want known. The $1 million question for all of us is, where's Sebastian? This was a weekend. They were pretending not to know why he was out the door. This was their unified priority. And I think a lot of people that saw that, and training or not, just said, hey, that's not right. Something is not right there. First of all, why is this a roller coaster? We talked about this yesterday. What points did you have? What little realms of hope were given to you by law enforcement, by searchers? Why would it be up and down? To me, it's just down. So then, with this attempt to divert attention away, stop that topic from going on, more things leaked out, including 10 p.m. noise and what was said, all while they were giving the impression to people, at least attempting to, I don't think it worked very well, of what a loving, wonderful home it was. And so then stepfather basically went on tour to talk about what a great guy he is. And he could go on literally for hours, what a great guy he is. It's heightening guilt. We call it the unnecessary moralizing that we sometimes see, where people rush to be the most moral. Often is concealing a moral deficit that's bothering them. They look for a veneer of some form of righteousness to cover it. So pretending not to know why he walked out that door is to tell investigators, here is where you aim your questions. What did you do? What did you say? And this say is the communications. Then we know there was about a 3-hour phone call that entered their language. And they were in agreement on revealing this information. And I think because it was something that was easily verifiable. So it's just a coincidence that their language is synchronized. It's just a coincidence that the night that he went missing, happened to be the same night they were on the phone for 3 hours. It's just a coincidence that they didn't call out for him initially. And so this begins to add up. And this is why I land on what they're concealing before time was an altercation and possibly even a punishment of putting him outside. Now, if the biological father said this to be believed, Sebastian wouldn't have gone outside with bare feet. This is why I lean towards punishment. The stepfather has too much at stake with this, including his other custody case. And he knows his way around Child Protective Services. Was that done to a special needs child who may have some real sensory issues, not only trauma from when he was a kid with the fire ants and bare feet, because we know those things shape us from when we're young. But was it a particular act of cruelty in a punishment? And why would he have a need to synchronize their information? And why would he have a need to feign not knowing if it wasn't something beyond the normal bounds of a family and beyond what he understands abuse, neglect, exploitation is from his history with Child Protective Services? I believe he directed these things on the phone because I also believe that if he hadn't said, put him out, we'll make a man of him, and you can see the belligerence in this guy all along, I think he probably would have thrown the mother under the bus.
That's credit to Peter Hyatt, statement analyst. So, what do you think? I know a lot of us, because of the scent not leaving the house, we do feel, in our opinions, alleged theories, thinking how else could he have gotten out of the house but be carried? In Peter's theory, he was put out, locked out allegedly, barefoot, as a punishment. So then what happened to him after that? That's what's so scary. Did he run into a pedo, someone nefarious? I also have a problem because if he was, how far could he have gotten barefoot without being caught on some camera as he walked out of that neighborhood? So unless he got encountered a creep, really, how far could he have gotten that they wouldn't have found him? In the thousands of miles that were searched by boat, car, plane, drone, foot searches, helicopters, FBI, TBI, Sumner County Sheriff's Office, and so many more agencies. So that is where I struggle with him walking away also from the house, as well as no scent trail. Was Sebastian carried to a car? Or do you think, agree with Peter Hyatt's theory? What do you think that Sunday night something went down? I believe possibly something went down, started Sunday night. I will pin the emotional roller coaster video at the end. In my opinion, I can buy into something occurred Sunday night and that it caused whatever happened to Sebastian. Let's focus on the most important thing of all. Where is Sebastian Rogers? He needs to be found, located, rescued, recovered, whatever the case may be. He is 15 years old, autistic, 5'5", glasses, brown hair. Please call TBI if you know anything about Sebastian's disappearance or location at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Thank you for joining me. Stay safe, and I will see you next time. Talk soon, friends.